What's up, photography fans? Welcome back to All About Street Photography channel. Today I am here with a review of iconic book by legendary photographer Alex Webb, The Suffering of Light. So let's check out the book and the photographs. Alex Webb is an American photographer who had exhibitions at museums worldwide. He has been member of Magnum Photos since 1979 and has published more than 15 photography books. You can check them on Webb Norris Webb website. Alex Webb is known for his vibrant color photographs, which this book is full of. You can actually find 115 of them in the book. Even though Webb has been a part of second generation of American photographers working in color, he is said to be a pioneer of American color photography. The Suffering of Light is a photography book published by Aperture in 2011. It is the first comprehensive monograph charting the career of acclaimed American photographer Alex Webb, gathering some of his most iconic color images he had been taken since 1978. If I would like to define his work in 4 words, it would be intense colors and brilliant composition. What I admire most is his ability to create layers and still maintain the high standard of composition quality. The book presents street photography and photojournalism in a form of fine art. What is interesting about this book is that the book is organized chronologically. It is the only book that focuses on Webb's work chronologically and not thematically. His other books focus on places where he photographed. I like how his photographs work in sets as well as individual photographs. Sometimes I just look at Webb's photograph and I'm like, wow, that's such a unique photograph, but at the same time there is this vibe or color theme which is very similar when you look at more of his photographs. I think that is actually a very difficult thing to do because once you find what you're good at, it is easy to fall into a trap of producing the same type of images over and over again, and that, in my opinion, locks your creative process. Talking about creative process, Webb often stays at the places he feels like a good scene for the photographs and takes a lot of different pictures. When we talk about composition and composition techniques, this book is full of silhouettes, shadows and reflections. However, perhaps the most recurring composition technique is a rhythm. You can identify it in many of Webb's photos. The size of the book is 13 by 12 inches and, as you guessed it, it is a typical photography book that does not fit well into your bookshelf. I wonder why there is no law to enforce a standard for photography book dimensions. The book has a preface where Webb explains his transition from black and white to colors, as well as an afterword by Jeff Dyer. Alex Webb was influenced by Anne Cartier-Bresson, Robert Frank, Gary Winogrand or Lee Friedlander. I think I can actually see it in some of his photographs. But you know, it's an art and anyone can see anything. Jeff Dyer said in the afterword, Webb has described his work as a highly interpretative presentation of the world. My favorite typical photograph from this book is probably Sancti Spiritus from Cuba. I just love those complementary colors he was able to catch in the frame. However, for some reason, my most favorite image, even though it's not Webb's typical one, is this one. I just can't help but laugh every time I see that picture. So, who is this book for? I would say for someone who is into street and documentary photography. What I like about the book is that it is a fine art book of color street photography, which I would say is quite rare. I mean, it's not rare like there are no other color photography books, but I would say there are still more street photography books in black and white. So, should you buy this book? Well, if it is for you, then you probably already know the answer, if you actually want to have the book in your collection. If it is for someone, just consider what I said about the genre of the book and that it is in colors. So that is for today's review of The Suffering of Light. If you want to find out more about Alex Webb, check out his website. You can also follow his Instagram, and while you are at it, you can also follow me on the Instagram. All links will be in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.